All right, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, and it is 1/5/2021. Yay! 2020 is behind us. Okay, so today is just a review day. It really is. Basically, we're going to be solving right triangles using right triangle trigonometry. Okay, so we did this last year, and again, it's really important that you have the right calculator. Calculate your mode, check your mode. It must be in degree mode. Okay, let's real quickly go back and write down what we looked at yesterday, and we know that, write these down real quickly, we know that sine of any angle is always equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. We know that. We know that cosine of any angle is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse, and we know that tangent of an angle is always equal to our opposite over our adjacent. Okay, so take a look at those three and take a look at how to solve our first triangle. Let's take a look at it. Solve this triangle for all angles and sides. Well, I think probably the first thing that's easiest is angle A. I mean, if you look at the triangle, we know that 180 degrees, right? 180 degrees in a triangle. And then if 90 is used up, then we do know these two angles are complementary. It's a fancy word for saying they add up to 90. So to find angle A right at the bat, I'm just going to go, okay, angle A is equal to 90 degrees minus 65. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, so then we're going to go and just simply go 90 minus 65. I'm going to answer 25 degrees. Okay, so I get 25 degrees. I'm going to put that in there. Okay, then the second thing I'd like to do is either find little a, that's that side, or little b, that's that side. Okay, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. Maybe I'll choose little a. And so if I'm at angle B, little a is my adjacent side, right? That's my opposite. That's my adjacent because it's next to it. And then the 12 is my hypotenuse. So what you have to do is pick an angle. You have to start with an angle. I chose angle B. You could have chose angle A, it doesn't really matter, but I chose angle B. When you do that, then the angle determines the side names. Opposite side from angle B, hypotenuse, and adjacent. So if I'm going to solve for angle, or if I'm going to solve for side A, that's my adjacent side, and I have the 12, which is my hypotenuse, adjacent hypotenuse has got to be cosine, okay? So we're just going to set that up. Cosine of theta, but theta is my angle, which is 65, right? So cosine of 65 degrees is equal to my adjacent side, which is my little a, over my hypotenuse, which is 12, right? So hopefully this is just a review of what we learned last year. Multiply both sides by 12, and so then we get an answer of 12 times the cosine of 65 equals side A. Use your calculator. Hopefully it's in the right mode. I'm just going to go 12 cosine of 65, and the answer I get is about 5.07. We'll round it to the nearest tenth. I think that's probably okay. So I'll write 5.1. So little a is about 5.1. Good, we got it, right? 5.1. Now, Jonathan yesterday said something about using Pythagoras' theorem to get the other side. That works, or you could use the sine function. I'm just going to use the sine function because I think it's faster. Opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm just going to set up sine of 65 is equal to little b. That's the opposite over the hypotenuse, which is 12, right? Opposite hypotenuse, multiply by 12, bring up the 12, right? Multiply up the 12, bring up the 12, we'll have 12 sine of 65 equals b. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use my calculator, okay? 12 sine of 65. I'm going to answer of about 10.87, round it up to 10.9. If you'd used Pythagoras theorem, you would have gotten the same thing, 10.9. Okay. Now, example 2, I'm only going to do one thing. I want to show you what happens when you have to divide, okay? I'm not going to solve the whole thing. Save yourself some time. Let's just find this side, little g, okay? So, if I'm at angle P, I have to pick an angle to work with, and then I can label the sides. I swear I'm allergic to something in this room. This side is my opposite side, and little g is my hypotenuse, right? Opposite hypotenuse, opposite hypotenuse, opposite hypotenuse. Got to be sine, right? So I'll set up, golly, sine of 28, sine of theta, right, is equal to my opposite, which is 5, over my hypotenuse, which is little g. Okay, now, when you multiply by g, bring it up. So if the variable is on the bottom, here's how you do it. Multiply by g. The g comes up. You get g times the sine of 28 equals 5. Man, I hate it when that happens. So then, I'm just going to divide, because that's a number, by sine of 28. Divide by sine of 28, cancel, and little g is equal to, well, what is, golly, I do this all the time. This room's got something in it that I'm allergic to. 5 divided by, must be just math I'm allergic to, huh? Sine of 28. So just divide. This is 5. And I get an answer of about 10.65. Okay, and again, if you want to solve for the rest of the triangle, then you could get angle I from 90, and you get little I from either sine, cosine, or tangent, or even by Pythagoras theorem. Okay, turn the page. Okay, now, example 3. If you want to find the angle, okay, write this down. Okay, to find an angle, you have to use, okay, please write this down. To find an angle, you have to use either sine inverse, cosine inverse, or tangent inverse. So sorry, you guys, man. I'm not sick. It's something in here I'm allergic to. It could be the venting system. Now, if that's the case, let's take a look at my calculator. And these are the buttons in blue. These are my inverse buttons. And then second, to get to blue, I go second sine inverse, second sine, clear, or second cosine, clear, or second tangent. So, let's figure out how this works. So let's first see if we can find angle x. So we want to find angle x, okay? So we're going to find the measure of angle x. So it's the same thing as far as labeling and figure out what the sides are. So here's angle x, right? Put that as theta if you want to, doesn't really matter. The 8 is the opposite side. And the 7 is the adjacent side. Man, that's going to be a funny recording, huh? So then, if I have opposite and adjacent, I've got to do tangent. Okay, opposite adjacent, we do tangent. So I'm going to have a tangent of theta equals 8 over 7, opposite over adjacent. But I need to find my angle, so I need to push one of these buttons. So of course, in this case, it's going to be the tangent inverse, right? So I'm going to rewrite this as tangent inverse of 8 divided by 7. Hopefully I'm in the right mode because I need an angle. So I'm going to go tangent inverse, second tan, right? See that? Of 8 divided by 7. I get an answer. 48.8 makes sense, doesn't it? So I get 48.8 degrees. If you want angle y, that's easy. Just subtract from 90. And if you want this side, you can use Pythagoras' theorem. Okay? Last but not least. Okay, you got a 6-foot man sights the top of a tower at an angle of elevation of 77 degrees. If he's 200 feet away, how tall is the tower? Well, let's draw a picture, okay? So here's my man. He's 6 feet tall. He sees a tower, right? He happens to be 200 feet away. He sights it at an angle of 77 degrees. Now, the triangle that he's looking at is actually at his eye. So here's my right triangle, okay? So what we're going to do is find the height of the tower, but that's still 6 feet above the ground. So when we solve this triangle, at the very end, we're going to have to add in that 6 feet. Does that make sense? Here's my triangle from his eye, but he's 6 feet tall, right? So in the end, I'm going to go ahead and figure this triangle. I'll find the value of x, and then I'll add in the 6. Last step I'll do is add in the 6. Okay, so this 200 is also 200 here. And let's see what we have. So from the angle, right, this is my opposite side, and the 200 is my adjacent side. Opposite adjacent, opposite adjacent, opposite adjacent. Which one is it? It's got to be tangent again, right? Opposite adjacent tangent. So I'm going to set up tangent of theta, but theta is 77 degrees, right? Tangent is equal to the opposite, which is x, over the adjacent, which is 200. Okay, multiply up the 200, right? I'm just going to multiply by 200. Multiply by 200, and then just use my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to go, okay, easy. 200 times the tangent, not tangent inverse, of 77, okay? An answer of 866.3. 866.3. But then I have to remember, I have to add in the 6, and I get an answer of 872.3. Is it meters? No, it's feet. There we go. All right, not too bad. So before I go, remember, if you want to find an angle, you have to use the inverse buttons. If you already know an angle, you're just going to use the regular buttons. Okay, that's all I have. Homework is a worksheet, okay? And it is online. You have to download it. Let me show you what it looks like, okay? So homework is a worksheet. Let me show you. So homework looks like this, practice B, and page 2, okay? So I need you to do this today and get it done. You've got all the way till Thursday to get it done, okay? So that's what I have. Have a great day.